All righty, here we go. It's episode 83 of a brand new, spanking new, fresh off the presses. We're actually doing it live. Episode 83 of the Odd Cheese Podcast. Jason Martinez, Harry Mays. What's going on, H?
We've got a lot going on, actually. A lot of Christmas parties, a lot of happy hours that I am attending this week. A very busy week leading into the Christmas holiday, and we got a lot of football on tap. I love how the NFL has, they got a game tonight, and then they got games Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. They're going to take over the whole week. And remember when the NBA used to think that they owned Christmas Day?
Mm-hmm.
And they still have those 5 games spread out on ESPN and ABC throughout the day. The Sixers are actually a part of it. I believe they play the Heat on Christmas Day. But the NFL just says, you know what? We're going to take it. Move over.
You guys came up with a good idea.
Right.
And, it seems like you're getting some audience, so we're going to go ahead and steal it all now.
We're just going to take it.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for doing our research for us.
Yeah.
People will watch sports on Christmas.
On Christmas, yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's unbelievable.
I've been complaining a lot, as you know, because I do it on this podcast and anywhere else that people will let me complain about the NFL this year, because I think it's really been a down year overall. Forget about what the Eagles have done the last 3 weeks. That stands on its own. We'll get into that. But there's not a lot of really good teams. There hasn't been, the primetime games have pretty much sucked now that they've stretched it out. We have Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night games, and a lot of them by and large. And I know they can't help this because guys get hurt. But when the quarterbacks of these teams get hurt, I mean, the product just suffers beyond belief. And it's really been a bad year for that. So I've been complaining, but this weekend, it's actually pretty good. You got Eagles, of course, in a game now that has taken on a different tone since the 3-game losing streak. They have to win this game. They're heavily favored. They're at home against the Giants and Tommy Cutlets and his manager, who I'm sure will be prominently displayed for all the television cameras. The guy who looks like he's right out of central casting for a mafia movie or a Netflix series or something. But we got that this week, and that's Christmas Day at 4:30. So that's a good one. You got the Dallas Cowboys playing a game that now has taken on a different tone because they're now in first place in the division ahead of the Eagles with the tiebreakers, and they're going to Miami for Christmas Eve day at 4:25. That's a great game to watch.
Yeah.
And then we got Saturday games. Bengals, Steelers, not too bad. I know we got backup quarterbacks. And what else we got? Well, I think there's a Peacock game, which I will not be watching because I don't do Peacock. The Bills and the Chargers, that game stinks anyway. But Sunday, Monday, we got some pretty good football, so I'm excited about that.
What do you think of having, an Eagle game on Christmas Day? Now, you don't have kids, so let's just
right.
But
right.
What is your opinion on the NFL or the Eagles in particular hosting the Gents on Christmas?
I'm okay with it. I mean, I remember back in the day when I was at the Fanatic, and we used to do the pregame, postgame stuff. And the Eagles played the Cowboys, I remember, on a Christmas Day, and I had to do postgame responsibilities. So that kind of interfered with I was, working a couple hours and had to prep, watch the game, go out at halftime to the studio, watch the second half. It was a work day, and I was okay with that. That's what you sign up for when you do the job, in media where you're covering football and sports. And I think it gives the fans, a nice day with the family, and then you can settle in and watch a little Eagles football, and then it's over by 7:30. You can, relax, have some second helpings of some food, dessert, maybe open up a couple more bottles of wine. It's a good day.
Yeah, you were playing a little catch up on the eggnog on that day, then I would assume with the Lima.
Oh yeah, that was a late night.
Was she buckled when you got home, huh? Still passed out already? Like
yeah,
my old lady,
probably asleep. Yeah.
You were going full blown George Thorogood. I drink alone.
I drink alone. Yeah,
only by myself.
That happens a lot here, actually.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah. I was out at a happy hour yesterday with about 25 to 30 of my old fraternity guys from Shippensburg. A lot I knew really well, and some I just got to know because they were younger than me. But we had a blast yesterday at the Yard House, I think it was called, the King of Prussia at the mall there.
Yeah, I know exactly where it is, yeah.
And then today I'm going to Creed's, which is right down the street from the mall. That's a good little spot. And then tomorrow night, we got the 1912 Club Christmas party. And then Saturday night, we got people coming over, these ladies that my wife goes away on golf trips with, and their husbands are coming over. So it's balls to the wall here.
Wow, you are in like sprint mode right now.
Yeah.
Like it's every day. You got
I should take a picture of the bar upstairs, like the kitchen counter, which is now turned into the bar with all the liquor. It's unbelievable. It looks like a full service like bar restaurant upstairs.
How did you and the Lehman take a trip down to Delaware or Maryland to buy the liquor?
No, I've gone to Weaver's. You know, Weaver's used to be the spot that my parents would stop at on our way to the shore. We'd go down to the Delaware seashore when I was a kid. We didn't go to the Jersey Shore.
So you're like a Dewey guy? Rehoboth?
Well, just below Dewey. Yeah, the Indian River Inlet, which is about 6 miles south of Dewey and about 17 miles north of Ocean City, Maryland. It's kind of right near Bethany Beach and all that area down there.
Beautiful.
Really nice, really nice. But we'd stop at Weaver's, which is like in northeast Maryland on a back road that got us hooked up with the way to get down to the shore. And that's where they'd load up. That my dad would go in there with shopping carts and just fill it up. And during the pandemic, I went down there and loaded up, actually, because you couldn't get the liquor stores in Pennsylvania were closed for a while.
Because they were state.
So I went down to Maryland. Yeah.
Yeah. So you took the trek down to Maryland. Yeah, my dad, whenever like my parents would have a party or something, my dad would make the trip to Delaware. And Delaware for us, where I live, is 10 minutes.
Right, right.
But now the cops apparently they sit in the liquor store parking lot. And if you have PA tags, you go in and load up. They'll ticket you because you can't take alcohol over state lines.
Wow.
So now we're coming to your state to be a customer and give you money, and you're going to give us a ticket.
So I guess you need like a fake Delaware tag.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, you got to get one of those.
Yeah, apparently they bust people for that. They don't bust people for going to the Concord Mall, though, Harry.
No,
to go tax-free shopping.
Tax-free shopping. Yeah, you could go down to get a diamond ring at what? Doesn't Bernie Robbins have a place in Delaware there?
That might be Bernari. Leon Bernari, Jewelers, the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, right. They won't bust you for that, but liquor, that's off limits.
Yeah. Can't take that across state lines. God forbid.
No.
I mean, Jesus, prohibition all over again in this fucking country. I'm not a big fan of having the game on a holiday like Christmas.
Yeah.
And here's why. It's not because of me, because I don't mind watching it. You know, I don't have a ton going. At that point in the day, 4:30 in the afternoon, Christmas is done by 9 a.m. It starts at like 8 and it's over by 9, basically, except for the dinner and, having family over and the whole thing. But I feel bad for the people that have to work. The thousands
like
of
at the
stadium.
At the stadium,
TV people, all those. I mean, they're there all like for a 4:30 game. The TV crew's loading in at 6 a.m.
I know.
The local guys.
That's what you sign up for, though. When you're working in that environment, that that's part of the deal.
Yeah, I know, I get it, but I don't like it for all those people that have to miss out on their holiday because the NFL wants to capitalize on that. So I'm a union man, Harry. I'm for the people.
Yeah, you're for the people. I'm not.
You're for the entertainment. So what do you think the Eagles just take care of business? I mean, they're a broken team right now, Harry.
They are.
They're firing coaches.
Yeah.
Decide the whole thing. And
Nick
Sirianni saying that they were playing for, did he really say they're playing for a pass interference call in that last play?
Yeah. I mean, come on. That's,
I mean, hope's not a strategy, Harry.
That's your reach there. I mean, they outplayed Seattle for 58 minutes of that game. And the defense, I thought, played well and much better in red zone defense. And then they give up a 92-yard drive in the final 2 minutes to a backup quarterback where Bradbury, who had been victimized all afternoon, all of a sudden is in single coverage, against Smith and Jigba, who was a really good wide receiver out of Ohio State. Now, how that happened, I don't know. I don't know if it's a screw up with Brown, who's a rookie. Maybe he made the wrong read and left Bradbury down there, all his lonesome. It was a really good throw and a touchdown, and it was a gut punch. I mean, I actually fell asleep somewhere in the late third quarter and woke up, and the game was already over. And I checked my phone. I'm like, holy shit, they lost.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. So I had to go back and watch it in the morning. because I was coming on with Nick Kale to talk about it, and I was just like blown away. I'm like, 92 yards in a minute and 20 seconds. It was 2 big plays, and both of them were against Bradbury. He actually was targeted 8 times in that game and gave up 7 completions for 116 yards and allowed a quarterback rating of 118.8 in those 8 throws. You believe that?
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't believe they lost it. I really couldn't. I'm watching this game and I'm going, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, and then what's worse, then the loss is hearing the quarterback afterwards saying that he doesn't think everybody's all in and all committed. That is really, I mean, that's not some talk show host coming on the radio after the game saying that. Okay, that's the leader of the team sensing that his team is not committed 15 weeks into a season where you were at one point, 10-1 just a couple of weeks ago.
They haven't played their best football, but they still were 10-1 without doing it.
Right.
And, you go, okay, a team that went to the Super Bowl and lost, got off to a 10-1 start. Do players start going, we're so good, we don't need to be committed? And now they've paid a very steep price for that, and things are in turmoil.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is chaos what's going on down there. And, a lot of people questioning Sirianni and the decisions. And obviously when Jalen Hurts says commitment, that ain't some donkey lineman saying it.
No, I mean, yeah, right.
He's the spokesperson for the team.
Yeah. It's not some guy on a special teams.
Yeah. It's not Chris Maragos hair.
Right. And, of course, then, we found out since the last time you and I did an episode that Slay had surgery, so he wasn't available. He gets his knee scoped. The whole Deshaun Desai being demoted, and Patricia, who was a consultant, which I even forgot about that he was a consultant on the team, gets elevated to the DC role, which is really bizarre in the middle of a season where, you're trying to run down an NFC, a number 1 seed in the NFC, which is now off the table. Forget about the 1 seed and home field. San Francisco, even if they lose to Baltimore, they have Baltimore, Washington, and then the Rams. And the Rams are playing some pretty good football. 2 possible games that they could lose. I don't think they're going to lose either one of them, but they're not losing to Washington. Yeah. So even if they did lose one of those games, they have a cushion now for home field. So that's off the table. Now, all of a sudden, right now, as of today, you're going to Tampa Bay to play a playoff game on the road. Dallas is at home where they play so much better. They're awful on the road, but they're great at home. And I know the Eagles are better than Tampa Bay, but you never like to have to go on the road when just a couple of weeks ago you were leading the NFC.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all just gone sideways.
Yeah, totally sideways. And it just puts you in peril.
Yeah.
It just puts what didn't look like it would be in peril. Now, them advancing in the playoffs to a significant, portion is going to be very much in peril. And I don't know how you stem this momentum of collapse that they're in. That's the thing. Can you put a stop to the momentum of them falling? That's the big key. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I keep going back to the comments from the quarterback. Maybe that was the wake-up call. Maybe that was what he was doing there, trying to really grab the attention of his teammates and being like, this is like, we got to run the table here.
Yeah.
Like, this is a must win. I saw 91 LSXers put it up there. Is Christmas Day a must win? He's being tongue in cheek. I get it. But yes, it is.
Yeah. He says, is Christmas a must win? 6-1-0.
Yes.
No, that's like it. Preseason week 3. Is it a must win?
Right.
6-1-0. They lost the first 2.
Yeah.
The whole thing. So this guy goes, TJ goes, Jason's saying the whole thing more than cuz. Sheesh. Yeah. Well, yeah. You didn't work with him. I did. So I had to hear about the whole thing. The whole thing. I'm like, what whole thing?
That might be the thing I love the most about your impression.
That wasn't originally in there. I added that late too, Harry.
Yeah.
Because I just started to realize, and I'm like, huh. He would always say, forget about that.
Yeah.
I'd be like ranting. He'd be like, hey, forget about that.
Yeah, right. Never mind what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me take out a chainsaw and cut your legs off. How about
that? Right.
Unbelievable.
Oh, man. But how about the last 4 possessions in that game, 3 of which I believe were in the fourth quarter, for this offense that is just so predictable and so, lack of creativity. I can't get over it.
Did you see Chris McCaffrey calling out their plays?
Yeah, I
That's
can call
pretty-
the plays. I know what's
Yeah.
coming. 77 yards in offense, 5 first downs, 2 punts, and 2 turnovers.
Mm,
I mean, really?
unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to look like a choke, and that it was all kind of smoke and mirrors in the beginning of the year, even though they were 10-1.
Yeah.
We'll see where a
Well,
lot of the conversation, Harry, has been is Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz, because Wentz had that great year
mhm.
when you and I were doing the show that
Oh, yeah.
year.
2017.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's an MVP candidate, even though he got hurt and he was phenomenal, but then the wheels just fell off his game.
Mhm.
Between the years, the whole thing just
He had
turned
a
into a
bunch of
mess.
injuries too,
Yeah,
you know.
but overall, did we overvalue Hurts too early? Because if they did, then you're in serious trouble because you paid him a ton of dough.
Mhm. That was the first game, I believe, this season that the Eagles lost when they had 25 or more rushing attempts in the game. Now, I know the
Oh.
quarterback ran the ball a lot, and I wanted to see him getting back to using his legs, but I don't need him being the leading rusher on the team, and he was on
Well,
Monday
he's
night.
sick too.
Yeah, I know he was sick. Yeah, that was
Kicking
the
his
other
own
development that came out over the
Yeah.
weekend. All of a sudden, your quarterback's sick. You were down one of the guards. Juergens was out. And then Dickerson gets hurt. He's going to miss, I believe, this week. Something wrong with his finger.
Mikey Miss saw him at the surgeon.
Oh, yeah?
Did you see that tweet?
No.
Mikey Miss said he was in Monday morning at like 6:30 a.m. at the surgery place to get a procedure done on his knee, and he hears Dickerson, Landon. They call out his name, and he said he turned around and there's Landon Dickerson
No kidding.
at Rothman, I think it was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then people, that's a HIPAA violation on you, Mikey Miss. It's like, jeez, come on.
Mikey Miss getting cut on by the NFL doctors?
He only the best, Har.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he's got to get back out to that fast pitch hardball league.
But that was the first time they lost running the ball that much. And you go back to Nick Bosa. I remember when Nick Bosa made these comments after the Niners game, a lot of people went crazy on it because he didn't do really anything in the game. Lane Johnson handled his ass
He always
in
does.
that football game. But what he said was that he thought that his team put out the blueprint for defending Jalen Hurts. Now, despite him not doing anything, Jalen Hurts since then is 0-3 with 638 passing yards in 3 games.
Mhm.
Only 1 passing touchdown, 2 interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 71. Now, do you know
Wow.
where if you were at 71 for the season, do you know who you're in company with?
You're in company with some guys that aren't even starters when the year begins.
Well, Bailey Zappi for New England
Ah.
and Bryce Young, the rookie first overall pick playing for Carolina. He's having all kinds of issues with that team. Those guys are right around 70, 71. So that's the level that he has played at the last 3 games.
Yeah, and
It's interesting.
I don't know what illness he's dealing with, but it's been dicey for him too. So
Mhm.
I don't know if they get it straightened out, but this team, I don't know what remains in store for this Eagles season. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Do you think Seth Joyner was happy, Harry? They ran the ball 25 times, even though they
Well,
lost?
Yeah, I'm sure he was, but then he wasn't happy because he went to this cigar bar in Conshohocken, and he's a member in there right on Fayette Street. My old buddy used to own it, doesn't own it anymore. And they weren't allowed in because his buddy, apparently, that he brought as a guest had sweatpants on, and he went off on Twitter.
Oh,
I did see that.
oh my God.
I mean, come on, let the guy in for a one-off. I mean, do you really need this smoke?
Look,
Pardon the pun.
if you've got standards for your club,
Oh, come on.
and you got to be dressed. You can't be showing up in what are you wearing, a
Dude,
Passion
it's
tuxedo, Harry?
a cigar bar. Relax.
Yeah, well, some places are highfalutin, Harry.
Jeez.
I've been told.
People wear sweatpants all over the place now. It's like normal.
Well, in South Philly, yeah,
I mean, I see
they wear a
3 or 4.
sweatsuit.
Yeah, I see 3 or 4 different ads during sports programming for these comfortable sweatpant-like pants for men, where they're wearing them all over the place to work everywhere. It's becoming normal.
Well, this guy probably had on a pair of grays.
I don't know. I don't know about
Can't
that.
be showing up like that. Seth's never happy. Matter of fact, in 2017, that season when he worked with us on Mondays, when they played Seattle, he almost killed me
I remember that.
because of the lateral.
I remember that.
Seth
Yes.
did not understand the laws of inertia, Harry.
Yeah, yeah. That's the scowl that he gave you.
Oh my God.
I thought you were going to drop right
Yeah.
there.
I thought I was like, okay, I got to dig in here and I got to,
Yeah.
you know, I got to make him understand he's wrong without
Hmm.
getting myself killed
Right.
in the
Right.
process.
Exactly. Yeah, Jalen Hurts, 17 turnovers this year. Everybody talks about Josh Allen with all the turnovers. He's got 17 as well. Well, Jalen Hurts is right there with him.
Wow.
12 picks and 5 fumbles lost.
Mm.
So
Uh,
not a good thing. It's the curse of Dom
Dom,
DeSandro.
put
Yeah,
him
they
back
haven't
on the
won a game.
sideline.
Yeah, they haven't won a game since.
T from the 203 says, Jason Harry, who's the Odd G's podcast donkey of the year?
Well, you're going to have to make that call.
That's
It's not Tortorella, I can tell you that.
It's not Joel Embiid, because since we called him out on this podcast, he's been incredible.
He's been unbelievable. And they've been playing donkey teams.
Yeah.
Now, they've had a stretch of like the Wizards, the Pistons, the Bulls,
Yeah,
all the dreck of the NBA. But to their credit, they're crushing each one of those teams. So,
did you see the Lakers unveil their midseason tournament banner, Harry?
Yeah, how about that? The in-season tournament banner. Are you serious?
In that city,
that would be like Duke putting up the Diamond Head Classic in Hawaii Christmas tournament banner on the rafters at Cameron Indoor Stadium. I'm serious. It's the Lakers. All the
banners.
This is the Lakers. Okay, you don't recognize in-season tournaments. That's a joke.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, are we kidding? You've got to be kidding me, right?
Come on. That'd be like the Montreal Canadiens hanging a banner for winning the one of those New Year's Day outdoor games against the Toronto Maple Leafs or something.
The Heritage Classic, Harry, Calgary.
There you go.
Oh yeah, it's just
come
silly. The Flyers have been steaming lately. Since they lost that game on November 8th, Harry, to San Jose. Remember, San Jose was 0-11.
Yes,
they got their first win against the Flyers, 2-1.
Right.
Since that game, the Flyers have gone 13-3-2.
Wow.
And so the two, obviously, they got points in them. They went to extras.
So that's 28 points.
I think
in that stretch.
13. So that's 60. It's a lot, whatever it is. 13.
You get 2 points for the win, right?
Yeah, 2 points for the win, then
so
1 point for the OTL.
And 1 point for the right. 28. You can't do that math?
No, I'm not very good at it. They said there'd be no math, Harry. But since then, they've been unbelievable. The power play still stinks, but that's the best record in the National Hockey League. Now, they're in a rebuild. Now, I want to ask you this theoretical question, because a lot of times people, think a rebuild losses have to come with a rebuild.
Right. There's usually a lot of pain that comes along with a rebuild.
Yeah.
Right.
And, to me, a rebuild is not, the signature of a rebuild is not losing. The signature of a rebuild is the plan and the strategy and the execution of the general manager and the front office and how they conduct themselves. And despite the fact that they're winning, does that mean that the rebuild can still be going on? Because they're in the second spot in the Metro.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, basically, if they're going to make the playoffs and a cutoff is 95 points, they got to get 56 points in their final 51 games. Obviously, very achievable.
Yeah, that's okay.
So if they make the playoffs, does that mean that the rebuild is gone? Now, they're not going to go out and add. They even may subtract, send some guys on expiring.
No, they're still in the rebuild.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they're still in a rebuild.
Yeah, losing's not bad in a rebuild. And it gives the general manager a shitload of leverage. We don't have to trade anybody.
Right.
But if you want to overpay for one of our guys who are playing well because the team's succeeding, then they have more leverage and they have more value on the open market.
So you don't think that they would be a team that would be adding at the deadline if they're in second place in the division behind the Rangers?
Nope.
Really?
No, I think if anything, they'll subtract. I think it's way more likely. I think it's like a 90% chance they subtract some, and I think there's about a 1% chance they add. Yeah. I don't think they add anything.
Huh.
Yeah.
How do you think that's going to go over? You think the fan base will understand that?
I think the fan base is trying to figure out how to act. Because A, we're not used to a rebuild with the Flyers. B, the other part of it is, saying you want to rebuild is easy. Living through a rebuild is not.
Mm-hmm.
People thought they should tear it down. They were never going to do that. They couldn't. So the fans are trying to figure out what to make of all this. Like how This team had no expectations.
Right.
So how are they processing the fact that all their underlying numbers, all their advanced stats, all their eye test, with the exception of the power play, is all good?
Like, do you think it's sustainable?
Yeah, because they're not just goalieing teams. Like, they're getting good goaltending.
But this backup goaltender has been a blessing.
Yeah,
He's been really good.
He's going again tonight too. Hart's been out dealing with some kind of illness that he's trying to. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is, but he said he got some answers. But I think he's going to play tomorrow.
Does he have what you have?
No, I don't think so. But overall, I mean, they've gotten good. But all the underlying numbers are good. They defend well. They play off the rush. They play way faster in transition. It's all there. Like, it's legit. And you go, well, is it sustainable? Well, why wouldn't it be? Because its process is all good and the players are executing it. I mean, they've dressed 24 or 10 guys under 24 and under. That's a rebuild.
Wow.
In today's NHL. So I don't know where it's going to go, but Torts has been a pleasure to deal with of late. So that's good.
Well, he's doing a fantastic job. Is he in the lead for Coach of the Year?
Gotta be, right?
Yeah,
I guess him, so. Maybe Laviolette's in that mix as well with the Rangers. Yeah.
But the Rangers have so much more talent, though.
Yeah, but they were a team that underachieved. And he goes in there, he gets immediate results. That's what Lavi does.
That's what he does.
Yeah, year 1, year 2. His message is great. Year 3, it's like they just want him to shut up.
Right. Isn't that funny how that happens in that sport?
Yeah, I think it's because every 2 years, Harry, players growing up get a different coach every 2 years.
Right.
Like 2 years
as they're being pushed up through the system, they're constantly getting a new voice. Every 18 to 24 months, and it's like, yeah. I've talked to some other people that are big hockey people, and they agree with that. Like, that's their theory too.
By the way, we should comment on the departure, the announcement on Monday, and departure of our good buddy John Marks.
Yeah.
Leaving WIP, the Afternoon Marks and Reese show.
WIP.
He leaves it number 1 in the market for a very long time. He was there 7 years total. I think he did afternoons about 5.5 of those years.
Right.
Quickly ascended to number 1 and remained there for the entirety of his tenure. And he announced on Monday that he is leaving the show.
Right. Wednesday was his last show, I believe.
Yeah, yesterday was the last show.
Yeah.
And that he's never home for dinner. He's got 3 young daughters.
Yeah.
And, when you do that show, you get off at 6. Like, a lot of people think sports radio, oh, yeah, you just work 4 hours a day, 2 to 6.
No, that's not the way it works.
Marks was in there by 8:30 in the morning and not getting home until 7:30 at night, preparing the show and all that stuff. And not only that, even when you're not there and you're doing the talk show, everything in your life is preparing for the next show.
Right. You're constantly
moment.
Thinking about what, gaining more content.
Yeah, you're texting your text group of your producer and co-host, hey, pull this sound for tomorrow. We can do this with it, those kind of thing. So he walks away from the show, and I got to tell you, that took some really big balls to walk away from that show.
Yeah, especially with, like you said, 3 young kids, and I don't know that his wife is working, or if she's, I doubt she's working full time if she's working. So yeah, that's a major risk. It's one thing. When somebody like me did it, with no kids, it's a totally different story. So yeah, congrats on a great run at WIP, and who knows what's in store down the road. But I'm sure he's got a good idea of what he's going to do.
Yeah, he's always got a lot of ducks in a row.
Yeah.
Who takes over for him? Do they just move his producer in there, Jack Fritz?
Probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
This WIP is a fucking monster, man.
I know.
Unbelievable. They've now replaced Ange with DeCamera and Richie, and turned over the midday show. They're now going to kind of turn afternoons over, and they'll just keep chugging.
Yep.
Until the Fanatic can actually put something in there that can compete with them. When we were at the Fanatic, I mean, we were right there with them. Yeah,
we did. Yeah,
WIP's
a wagon, as they say right now.
Yeah, yeah, they are. They've been a wagon.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was there, and when you were there way back too, I mean, it was just a well-oiled machine. Now, I was running the place, so it was a well-oiled machine.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's part of it. So John's going to join us in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
First OG's pod after the new year.
Okay.
And you and I talked to John quite a bit. He's been on the OG's podcast, and we did some consulting with him along the way when he came to this decision. But best to him and his family. And again, that decision took a lot of stones to do.
Yep, absolutely.
So are you filling in next week with Bruno?
We're filling in for Nick Kale for one day. He's taking the whole
Okay.
week off.
Okay.
So Wednesday, the 27th, we'll do the 6A to 10A spot on 1210 as a one-off.
Okay.
Yeah, the amount of money they were giving me, I could not refuse. So
I hear you.
yeah. Now I'm watching a new show. I want to see if you've been watching this or if you've seen it already. One season in the books, and there's talk of a season 2. We're 3 or 4 episodes in. I think there's 10 episodes. Night Agent on Netflix.
I've seen I think I may have watched one episode. Is that the one where the phone rings and
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, in the basement of the White House.
Yeah.
This
Gets
FBI,
code.
a young FBI agent whose father, he's a legacy, and apparently his father was accused of being a treasonist, for treason, and it wasn't really true, but it's besmirched his career. So it's really pretty good.
And there's one season of it, you said?
There's one season so far, and there's talk of a season 2.
And he's got to save some girl or something like that. I think so, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. I have not binge watched a show in so long. When I got free time, I'm doing the racing here.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joey B sanctions Night Agent.
Yes. I got nothing. I got nothing for you with all that.
All right. Anything else you want to get to? I want to keep it short today.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with this fucking stomach issue. Oh.
Yeah, I know. I got a happy hour to go to. I got to watch Temple basketball this afternoon at 3 o'clock.
Geez.
Yeah, and here's the breaking news overnight, or I think it was late last night. I told you a couple of weeks ago that E.J. Warner, the quarterback, put his name in the transfer portal after having 2 really productive years as the starting quarterback as a true freshman. Kurt Warner's son, from Arizona. They live out in Arizona. He put up record-setting numbers for the football program with yards and touchdowns and puts his name in the portal. Guess where he ends up?
Florida.
Huh. Yeah, right. I could accept that. Okay. If he ended up in Florida. Rice University.
Why?
Within the conference, a different owl, the Rice Owls down in Houston, which is a really good academic school. It's really like it's up there with like Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
As far as academics.
It's not quite Ivy League, but it's a notch below, like Dartmouth.
It's not like it's kind of like a Stanford, Vanderbilt kind of thing.
Yeah.
But their athletics really are not good. Like they haven't had a good football team. I think they're 6-6 this year, and that's like a good year for them. A total lateral move. Now, I don't know if he was trying to get I'm sure he was trying to get a Power 5 spot, thinking he could get one, and maybe there was just nothing there, and he had to take any port in a storm. But he ends up at Rice. Are you kidding?
Jeez,
that's a slap in the face.
Is he ticketed for the NFL, Harry, when he's done college?
Yeah, he's a little small.
Yeah,
he's a little small, but he's a nice college quarterback.
Okay.
Very smart, good instincts. Not a huge arm. He's only like 6 foot, 185 pounds. I mean, he's not a big guy. And that's if he'd have been a bigger guy, he'd have gotten Power 5.
Yeah,
scholarship offers out of high school. But smart player though.
That is the lateral move makes no sense.
Yeah,
Maybe
I mean, it
overvalued his hand.
Maybe. I mean, it's better academics, you could say, and then maybe a little closer to home. But other than that, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a lot of tweets from Kurt Warner about coming to Philly for games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
To watch him play. So
not Condoleezza Rice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not Jerry Rice. Come on,
right.
You make the obvious one.
Right.
Or Tim Rice.
Tim Rice.
Wasn't Tim Rice, wasn't he a baseball player? Let me see.
No, you're talking about Rice for the left fielder for the Red Sox.
Tim Rice was an actor.
Yeah.
Tim Rice, let's see here. He's an older fella. Yeah, you've seen Tim Rice, though.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's been, let me see here. It was a Broadway guy and an actor.
Now, I'm going to know a Broadway guy.
Yeah, if you saw his face, you'd know. He's 79.
Jim Rice is the guy that for the Red Sox played with Freddie Lynn.
That's
correct. On those teams. Yeah.
That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Not Mark Price. There's another good one.
Mark Price.
Yeah, Price.
He's a basketball player. That's not Rice.
Yeah, that's not Rice. All right, let's wrap it up there, Harry. Have a great holiday, Harry. Enjoy it. Enjoy the happy hours.
Yeah.
Everybody have a good, safe holiday. We'll talk to you next week. And John Marks will join us in 2 weeks' time here on the Odd G's podcast. Have a great holiday, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.